The key resolve joint South Korea-U.S. military drill is just a month away. North Korea's protests are growing louder. Pope Francis has named 19 new cardinals. South Korea's own Seoul Archbishop Andrew Soo-jung is among them. And the polar bear swim has opened in Busan, drawing scores of thrill-seeking swimmers to the shores of Haeundae Beach. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, January 13th. I'm Luke Clary. South Korea and U.S. armed forces are preparing for next month's key resolve military exercise. North Korea is not mincing words in its criticism.
12 of the U.S. forces' F-16 combat jets will be deployed to Osan Air Force Base in mid-January. The rotational deployment of a mechanized battalion was recently decided upon, while the chemical battalion and attack helicopters were redeployed last year. Some of the forces will take part in the key resolve joint military exercise slated for later next month. North Korea, which had rejected South Korea's proposal to hold family reunions, intensified its criticisms against Seoul.
이 합동군사 연습이 북침 공격적이며 호전적 성격을 가리워보려 하고 있습니다.
The South Korean Ministry of National Defense responded that key resolve and the subsequent Exercise Foal Eagle defensive drills have been conducted since 2002.
연례적인, 정례적인 또 기계획된 훈련입니다. 방어적 성격의 훈련이고요.
At the same time, Seoul stressed that if the regime uses the military exercise as an excuse for provocations, the South Korea-U.S. alliance would suppress it. South Korea's defense ministry plans to notify Pyongyang of the schedules and purposes of the key resolve joint exercise through the UN command in Korea at the end of the month.
Pope Francis has appointed the Seoul Archbishop Andrew Soo-jung as cardinal. The Korean cardinal is one of the 19 newly named by the Pope over the weekend.
Pope Francis has appointed Seoul Archbishop Andrew Soo-jung as a new cardinal. The Pope read out the names of the 19 new cardinals in the Vatican's St. Peter's Square on Sunday.
Monsignore Andrew Soo-jung, Arcivescovo di Seoul, Korea.
This is the first time Pope Francis has named a group of cardinals since he took office in March last year. Of the 19 new cardinals, 16 are younger than 80 and have the right to vote for the next pope. The Holy See said the 16 are from 12 countries around the world, including Italy and the UK. According to the Vatican's rule, cardinals who reach the age of 80 are no longer eligible to participate in the selection of the next pope. The three others aged 80 or above are from Spain, Italy, and St. Lucia.
서인 행사만 남은 건데 형님이 말씀하시기는 2월 22일날 서인 행사를 하시는 걸로 이렇게 되어 있습니다.
The Vatican explained that the new cardinals represent its relations with the Roman Catholic churches all around the world.
The Korean Medical Association will go on a general strike in protest of the government's new medical policy package. However, simultaneous talks with the government are a welcome sign.
The Korea Medical Association says it will stage an all-out strike against the government's new medical policies. It is urging the government to scrap its plans to introduce a telemedicine system and to allow for-profit hospitals. The Doctors Association is also demanding a reform of the national health insurance system. However, the association said it could delay the general strike if the government changes its positions. The doctors' group also proposed that they and the government form a consultative body to hold talks and find common ground.
구체적인 아젠다와 그리고 조건에 대해서 제시를 하고 정부가 그것을 수용을 한다면 협상에 응하고 그렇지 않다면 저희가 협상이 진행되지 않는 것으로.
The government reiterated that it will firmly deal with the association's collective actions. While accepting the association's proposal, the government made it clear that the talks would cover fine-tuning the issues in question.
전면 재검토를 할 만한 구체적인 사유를 저쪽에서 제시하지 않았기 때문에 물론 세부적인 부분에 대해서는 충분히 협의할 만한 사안이 있고.
Health Minister Moon Hyung-pyo said in a phone interview with KBS that his ministry will reschedule the submission of a revised medical law to Parliament. The ministry originally planned to submit this to the National Assembly on Tuesday. The delay is interpreted as the ministry's step in creating a means for dialogue with the Doctors Association. The ruling Saenuri Party lawmakers called on the health ministry to hold talks with the organization.
Studies show that 1 out of 7 couples in Korea is having trouble conceiving children. The number of men seeking treatment for infertility to address this is on the rise.
This man in his 40s has been married for 5 years now, but has no children. He was diagnosed with subfertility or difficulty in conceiving a child and decided to come in for more tests. A couple is said to be infertile if the couple fails to conceive despite their efforts for over a year. Out of over 190,000 people with infertility, roughly 41,000 are men. There are more women with infertility, but the average increase rate over the past 5 years shows that there are now 12% more infertile men, more than 4 times the increase rate of infertility among women. Infertility in men may be blamed on hereditary factors, but it mostly stems from social and environmental causes. Sperm cells from a healthy man move about actively, but those from an infertile man appear almost inactive.
장시간 앉아서 근무를 한다든지 아니면 비만, 환경 호르몬에 대한 노출 등이 남성 불임의 증가의 한 원인이 되겠고.
Men are advised to cut down on drinking and smoking and to reduce the amount of time they stay in hot saunas, all of which slow down sperm mobility. Also, the tight-fitting pants that are in vogue these days make men more susceptible of male infertility.
The proportion of single-person households, or people going it alone, is up to 1 in 4 of all Korean households. Businesses are keen on figuring out how and where single consumers spend.
The shopping list of this employee who lives alone is pretty much fixed most of the time. It usually includes processed foods, microwavable rice, and partially cooked goods. He takes care of himself with these easy-to-prepare meals. It's not surprising that one-person households purchase over 50% more processed foods than two-person ones.
일단은 혼자 살게 되니까 빨리 먹고 간편하게 치울 수 있는 게 제일 큰 것 같습니다.
Singles also eat out often, spending 27% more on restaurants and 50% more on alcohol and tobacco products. Since they're more prone to loneliness, their communication and socializing expenditures are also 10% higher than with other households. Meanwhile, their housing costs are 62% greater since they have to pay for it all by themselves, while the purchase of household appliances is 38% higher. In order to cater to one-person households, retailers are marketing a wide variety of products, such as mini rice cookers and wines that come in small portions. Business analysts claim that more big spending singles can contribute to boosting local consumption.
1인 가구의 증가는 1인당 소비가 높은 인구의 비중을 증가시키기 때문에 단기적으로 전체 소비를 늘리는 효과가 있습니다.
But it is more troubling to know that in the long run, as single-person households rise, this may lead to lower birth rates and in the future, drops in spending power.
A record-setting chill in North America is driving up the prices of oranges by 20%. This will be reflected in Korean markets, motivating domestic distributors to look into alternative fruits.
Grapefruits are being sold at the imported fruit section in a supermarket. They were brought in from Israel. The supermarket began importing more grapefruits earlier this month as it believes the prices of oranges will surge due to the extreme cold in North America.
아무래도 오렌지 값이 많이 오르면 자몽에 더 손이 갈 것 같아요.
The average temperatures in January for California, a major orange producer, hovers around 10 to 20 degrees Celsius. However, the severe cold snap has brought the mercury down to temperatures below zero. As a result, compared to last year, the production of oranges has dropped 30 to 40%, causing the prices to soar by 20%. The hike will be reflected in the Korean market's prices next week. This is why domestic distributors are considering importing Spanish oranges. The rising prices of oranges have also put a strain on Korean juice makers and sellers. They are also poised to import oranges from other countries.
미국산 오렌지 가격이 오르면 먼저 저희 칠레나 남아공 같은 수입 다변화를 통해서 가격 안정을 하겠습니다. 네.
The prices of U.S. walnuts and almonds have also gone up by 30% due to a decrease in production. As a result, Korean distributors are importing unshelled nuts to reduce import prices. They've also started to import Chilean nuts, which are 20% cheaper than those from the U.S. The severe cold snap in the U.S. is forcing Korean distributors to find alternative fruits and products and new exporters.
For a refreshing splash of winter fun, what could be better than a brisk dip in the sea? Enter the polar bear swim now taking place in Haeundae Beach in Busan.
3,000 people in swimsuits dive into an ice-cold sea. The Haeundae Beach looks as exciting as it is in the summer. It's only 4 degrees Celsius and the wind chilly, but nothing can stop these people from enjoying a swim in midwinter. Some of the swimmers are college students who are about to graduate. They came here determined that they would find a job upon finishing school.
2014년도 꼭 취업을 하고 싶어서 뭔가 해보자는 마음으로 참가하게 되었습니다. 해보니까 어떠세요? 아주 춥지만 아주 또 뜨겁고 아주 기분 좋은 것 같습니다. 뭔가 이룰 것 같습니다.
The British broadcaster BBC selected the Polar Bear Swimming Festival in Busan as one of the world's most unusual winter sports events. This year, it drew in even foreigners.
Everyone's having a wonderful time. People from not just Korea, some other countries. The weather is nice. This is a great day.
Thanks to the courage and passion of these so-called polar bears, Haeundae Beach now looks as exciting as ever.
In the midst of the winter chill, it's easy to be skeptical of global warming. But there's no doubt that our climate has changed, as evidenced in the last 30 years of climate observations on South Korea's Dokdo Islets.
The skies over the Dokdo Islets are full of seagulls, while its barren land is home to wildflowers such as asters and Siberian chrysanthemums. With few visitors coming to the islets, Dokdo appears largely unchanged. But the meteorological equipment that has been operating on Dokdo for nearly 18 years has captured a few changes. Back in the 1980s, the average temperature on the islets was 12 degrees Celsius, but last year it surged to 13.9 degrees. As for precipitation, it used to record 1,300 millimeters, but now there is about 1,400 millimeters. In the sea, one can find a lot of brown algae and more than 100 different species of fish, all the results of global warming. While there is still plenty of squid, it's hard to find pollock, cod, and turtles, which usually live in cold currents. Over the past 4 decades, the water temperature in the sea off Dokdo rose 2 degrees because of global warming.
예, 난류의 영향이 강해지면서 한류성 어종보다는 난류성 어종이 많이 서식하고 있고 연안 안반 서식지에는 홍합이 대표적으로 서식하고 있습니다.
Experts say the cod and turtles will likely be replaced by mussels and barnacles soon. Meteorologists will install a climate change observation post on Dokdo this year to track climate change caused by greenhouse gases.
Many young Koreans dream of stardom, and for some children, this dream may become a reality. But the road to fame is no walk in the park, as many would-be child stars know very well. With the number of successful child actors on the rise, management agencies specializing in grooming children into bankable stars have sprouted up as well.
자, 라 준비. 라. 리아.
The agencies customize their programs to train young children for diction and vocalization and boost their confidence in their acting skills.
이제 포즈 연습할 거예요. 포즈 연습. 자, 한 발짝 떨어지세요.
More than 200 young children are training to become child stars at this agency alone.
포즈랑 발성이랑 연기 배우고 있어요.
수업 받는 거 재밌어요? 얼마나 재밌어요?
하늘만큼 재밌어요.
After rigorous practice, these children get the chance to work in the media, appearing in advertisements, TV shows, and magazines.
빨리 받아쓰기 준비 안 해? 하시면서 정작 엄마는 신문 한 줄도 안 읽으셔. 정말 실수한 거 알아?
아이들을 원하는 분야 자체가 굉장히 다양해졌다고 생각을 하거든요. 그런 것들이 높아지니까 방송들이나 그리고 여기를 찾는 수요 자체도 굉장히 계속적으로 늘어나고 있는 상태라고 생각합니다.
However, the reality is that only a handful of these hundreds of children actually get to stand in front of a camera. Consequently, more and more of these stage mothers oversee their children's fledgling careers to grasp at even the slimmest opportunity.
학원 갔다 온 밤이도 있거든요. 근데 갔다 와서 바로 해줘야지. 아니면 또 잊어버리고 생활을 하면 뭐 평소 수업 학교 있다 보니까 놓치게 될 때도 있거든요.
Park So-yeon has been working for magazines and PR since January of 2013. Driving her is her mother, who supervises her training and manages her career and casting calls. The stage mother oversees her daughter's diet and fitness level and even travels to remote cities to improve her acting skills.
다음 날 수업이랑 오디션이 있어가지고 올라가는 거예요. 안 피곤하세요? 괜찮아요.
These two have to travel 6 hours round trip to attend the daughter's weekly acting class. It's a very rigorous schedule for such a young girl. The mother is doing all she can to make her daughter's dream come true, but sometimes she can't help but wonder if she's being too demanding on the girl.
학교로 데려가서 올 때는 정말 혼내기도 해요. 그러면서 아니면 또 어느 때는 달래고 좀 미안하긴 해요. 미안해.
It takes an average of 15 months to groom a child for TV appearances, but industry insiders say only about 10% of these aspiring child actors end up making a name for themselves. These children know their future hinges on their choices today. Along with their parents, they must carefully weigh their decisions on the way to stardom. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.